Hi, I'm Yali. I'm a coach, entrepreneur, and a rock star, as we like to call ourselves here. And welcome to iinspire, where our mission is to empower millions of people to live a life that they love. You're about to listen to a UPW morning call where UPW graduates and Tony Robbins fans keep the momentum going every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Our calls are split into 4 parts, beginning with an intro like a priming exercise, a meditation, or just some fun stretches, followed by our call leader, who's someone from the community volunteering to lead on a topic that's close to their hearts in order to empower and inspire everybody's day. We follow that up with a group discussion where people from the call can share their takeaways. And we always end with a fun outro as well. I invite you to be a part of our morning calls, but if you really can't make it, then check us out and check the recordings out on our UPW Morning Call Facebook page, where you can also find our schedule and more information. Also, make sure you take advantage of your free strategy session with one of our iinspire coaches. I hope you enjoyed today's recording and have an awesome and outstanding day.
If you guys are ready for an outstanding, once-in-a-lifetime, absolutely freaking amazing morning call this morning, I want to hear you say yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. One more time. Like you really mean it. Like you understand that this morning has never, ever been here before and will never be here again. I want to hear you guys say yes.
Yes.
All right. So if you're freaking excited, we're going to make the sound of unstoppable intensity. All right. Round of applause for everyone who showed up this morning. Woo! Yes. Was that excited enough for you?
Yeah.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. My name is Yali. I'm a coach, an entrepreneur, and a rock star, as we like to call ourselves here. And I want to welcome you to today's iinspire UPW morning call, where our mission is always to empower millions of people to live a life they truly love and enjoy, and where you can be a leader too. Now, before I present today's absolutely incredible call leader, I'm just going to go over quick ground rules that most of you already know. So number 1, who knows number 1 and wants to say it?
My name's
Anybody?
Karen, and I'm a rock star.
What? Mute, exactly. All right. What Carolyn, the rock star, was saying is that number 1 is when to mute yourself. So in the beginning intro and at the end when we're kind of opening the discussion up for everyone, or every time I ask you guys to freaking, just welcome today's caller, anything like that, you're unmuted, and that's awesome. But for the rest of this call, especially when our call leader is speaking, you all have your personal responsibility to make sure you're muted, all right? Just look around you. If there's anything you're doing, if you're moving around, if you're breathing because you just woke up, whatever it is, just be aware of that and mute yourself if you're not sure how to do that. Star 6 to mute and star 6 again to unmute. It's just amazingly easy like that. All right, and number two is focus, right? So you want to get all the benefits out of this call. The fact that you woke up early and called in is just, it's not a given, right? So in order to get the best of it, I really advise you to listen. First of all, clear away any distractions, any barking babies or screaming dogs, anything that can bother you, any beeping noises. Just clear them away. I already hear that someone didn't listen to number one. Number one, mute yourself. Someone has some background noise. So if you know that's you, please just take responsibility and mute yourself. Thank you. All right. Now, clear away any distractions, and also how to listen to this call. Just listen from your life. What that means is we all have a way of listening, and we can listen through our judgments, which is what we do automatically. So someone starts speaking, and we hear something we already know, and we're like, oh, this call is not for me. It's for everyone who doesn't know that. But we're missing out on everything that we can get. So just like if you'd go to UPW the second time around, you'd just be, even if you knew all the parts, you'd be listening again anyway. I want you to listen to these calls from your life. Why am I hearing this today? What is there that I can take into my day today and make a difference? And this is what these calls are all about. Okay, and last thing is have fun, participate, share. It makes a difference for you and for other people. And I'm so super excited to start this call. So unmute yourselves because we're about to present the one and only, the call leader of all call leaders. And in order to welcome him like we should, I really just want to hear you guys. Welcome. Bert! Woo! Yes. Round of applause for Bert. Woo! Woo! Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. To add something to what Yali said, it brought it to mind as she was mentioning about paying attention. And long ago, I remember going to a seminar for the Underground Seminar by Yannick Silver. It was like a $5,000 seminar in Los Angeles. And one of the things that Yannick said is that most people take notes at a meeting or a seminar or listening to a recording. But what he suggested is that in addition to having one sheet of paper or one Word document open to take notes, have a separate one in which the title of the page is Action Steps That I Will Take. And on that, every time that an idea strikes you from one of the speakers or one of the individuals at the meeting, write it down so that when you walk away from that meeting, you don't have to go back to your notes to figure out what things you caught on to that you want to take. You have an actual plan that you can walk away from that meeting or seminar that you can immediately take action. In fact, I encourage you that if you haven't done that with your UPW notes, go back, take out a separate piece of paper and put down actions I'm going to take as a result of this UPW seminar, and then just go through your notes, and as ideas click in your head, write them down. It'll give you a different perspective, and believe me, it'll make a major improvement in how much you get out of a seminar and how much you actually apply. Because after all, going to a seminar is great, getting pumped up is great, but if we don't go into action, nothing's going to happen. Today we're going to talk about one of the things that I feel is very important, and I've been seeing a lot of people in the UPW New Jersey group and in other groups that have all of a sudden made drastic changes in their lives, and I commend them for that. But on the other hand, I see people changing too much of their environment. The key thing that I recognized, and that most of you should have recognized, that most of the changes that we need to make in life are not really our environment. Now, granted, if your goal is to be a miner, and you don't live in an area where there's mining, you live on a Caribbean island, it's going to be hard to be a miner living in tropical paradise. But I see people changing their jobs, changing the external. And the problem is that where you are right now, the person that you are today, is because of habits and attitudes that you've created in the past. And changing the environment is not going to work. I remember a story that was told to me once about this Mormon gentleman that stood on the road, and he would greet people as they walked by. And one day this couple walks up to him and he says, he was at the crossroads of the town, and the people saw the sign, and they walked up to him and said, "Sir, could you tell us what kind of people live in the town down the hill?" And he said, "Well, what kind of people did you meet in the town that you lived in?" He says, "Oh, they were horrible people. All they did was gossip and talk about each other and backstab, and they did horrible things to each other." And he said, "Well, I'm afraid to tell you this, but I'm really sorry, but this town is exactly the same." He said, "Perhaps another town down the road might be better." So they continued on their road, and another couple approached this gentleman. They asked him the same question, what kind of people live in this town? We're looking to move. And he said, well, what kind of people did you leave behind? He said, oh, they were fabulous people. They were incredible people, warm, loving, affectionate. They watched out for each other. They helped us with our kids, and we helped them with them. It was a real sense of community. We really hated leaving it, but there just wasn't enough work in the area for my husband, so we're forced to leave a town that we love. And he says, well, welcome, my friends, because this is exactly the same town. Now, same town, two different points of view, because everything is subjective. Whatever you believe is subjective. In NLP, they say the map is not the territory. I don't know if you've ever heard that expression, but what that means is that essentially what you believe is your map, but it's not necessarily the territory, meaning it's not really reality. If you walk into a party and you see if two people walk into a party and one person stands at one side of the room, the other one sits at the other side of the room, and the first person sees this couple arguing, and all they do all night long is argue, while the other person sitting on the other side of the room sees this a bunch of couples sitting around, loving each other, caring for each other, holding hands, and really enjoying the party. What's going to happen? Well, the person that saw the people yelling is going to think it's a horrible party. The person that saw the people loving and affectionate and talking to each other is going to feel that it's a loving, caring, and great environment. Two people, two different representations. Which one is true? Well, that's what your attitudes and habits will determine for you. So let's start with discussing some of the things that you may or may not know about incantations or affirmations. More than likely, you've heard about both of these. You've heard Tony talk about incantations. Incantations are just affirmations or self-talk. It's an important tool for your success. In fact, if this technique or tool for success is so valuable, then why do so few people actually use them or get results? Is the question that I ask myself. And the answer for that is because they're using them wrong. Quite simple, right? One of the secrets in using affirmations or incantations is that they be tied into specific goals, attitudes, and habits that you wish to acquire or achieve. Using a borrowed affirmation or a borrowed incantation is great, but it's like anything else in life. It's going to lack the power of motivating you. And the reason why is because it doesn't have anything to do with your own personal goals. A borrowed affirmation will not be powerful in your life until you adopt it as your own and you believe what it says. Affirmations are just a method of building belief in ourselves. The best way to use affirmations is to use them before using it to replace the negative thoughts and feelings that you're going to experience before you attempt it. When you did the fire walk, what did Tony do? Okay, in NLP, we say physiology first. If you want to change your state, change your physiology. That's the fastest way, right? So all day, you were jumping, pumped up, banging on your chest, or creating a move for yourself. And then what was your incantation? Cool moss, cool moss, cool moss. Why? He changed your focus. The brain can only hold, the conscious mind can only hold one thought at a time. You can either fill it with negatives, which is your negative self-talk coming to you from negative past experiences, disappointments, things that you have been programmed by your parents or friends, well-meaning but still programmed with negatives. You can allow those thoughts to take up your mind, or you can use the same principle that you learned at UPW and create your own cool moss incantation that you say before any event that empowers you. You can fire off your move and change the representation of what you're fearing. Now, all religious writings for centuries have used the power of affirmation and repetition. You can see the power of affirmation and repetition used every day in all forms of advertising. When you see the words crest, Mustang, and tide, what do you think of? Well, crest was the top of the hill, or a wave. Mustang was a horse, and tide was the motion of the ocean. It's because of spaced repetition that the reflex or default meaning of these words have been permanently altered in your mind. To go a little further, here's a few more examples of spaced repetition. You've heard these ads before. How do you spell relief? It's the real thing. Heartbeat of America. Just do it. The Pledge of Allegiance. Right now, how many of you could recite the Pledge of Allegiance by heart? Now, was that something that you stood up late at night cramming and studying to remember? Did you spend hours upon hours studying, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all? Yeah, I spent hours studying that, days in and days out. No, It was programmed into us every day by the sheer use of the most powerful weapon in your arsenal for change, repetition. In fact, if you go one step further, let's talk about math. Do you know how much 12 times 12 is? How about 2 times 2? How about 159 times 259? Well, you can do 2 times 2, you can do 2 times 3, but you can't do the 250 times 179. Why? Because they didn't teach us that much. The first one is very easy, and the second one is really hard. Using spaced repetition is the real key to learning a new idea, changing a belief or a limiting belief, creating a new habit or an attitude. With it, you will have permanent retention, instant recall, and use. And it's really quite simple. As your powers of concentration improve, you'll quickly and actually be able to learn with fewer and fewer repetitions. Unfortunately, without repetition, here's what happens to any new learning or any idea. This is according to recent research. After 24 hours, 25% of what you learned at UPW will be forgotten. After 48 hours, 50% is forgotten. After 4 days, 85% is forgotten. And after 16 days, 98% is forgotten. Now, Tony uses various tools to make sure that that doesn't happen. He makes sure that he keeps your physicality going by dancing, moving. He makes you constantly anchor in the learning, and he's keeping you in a high-pitched emotional state, which are all things that we can do ourselves to increase the amount of information that we're learning. If you're trying to study something, find your attention drifting, change your physicality or walk. Use a positive affirmation. With just one exposure, 98% of ideas are forgotten within 2 weeks. By planning ahead to use the power of spaced repetition, you can retain more of the information that you need. It's simple, really. After attending a seminar or reading a book, set an appointment with yourself on your smartphone or appointment book to review the notes 3 days after the event. Place a second reminder to review the notes 6 days after the event, and then again place a reminder to review the notes one more time 14 days from the event. If you'll follow that simple plan, you'll find yourself using more and more of the information that you learned at the seminar, or even if you're reading a book. If you have a specific goal that you want to achieve and are fairly confident and self-assured that you can steer a nearly direct course towards the goal you have set, I might suggest that if you really want to make your plans materialize, if you want to retain your self-confidence and enthusiasm over the long haul, you'll need to add one more vital ingredient to what you already know about personal motivation. You'll need to develop and use the power of affirmations or incantations. The use of affirmations is the insurance policy on the life of your goal setting. It lubricates the working parts of your plans. It provides the written guarantee that you will make the all-important internal changes necessary to achieve your goals. Now, we've already discussed the power of that advertisers use in repetition. And the essence of all affirmation or all incantations is to induce us to buy their product. We can use the same principle that advertisers use to program us to program ourselves. The use of affirmations or incantations as a vehicle for personal development is one of the oldest practices of humankind. Every culture and civilization for more than 5,000 years has made use of this powerful practice. You can find it in all the wisdom literature of the world's greatest religions. Even ancient Egyptian, Greek, and Roman philosophic writings are heavily spiced with affirmations. Today, even the modern literature of Europe and the Americas makes effective use of affirmations either composed or appropriated by the individual authors. Why have people throughout the centuries found affirmations or incantations so attractive? What purpose do they serve? Affirmations help us build self-confidence, inner security, and self-image. They help us express in words what we feel, what psychologists refer to as reinforcement. But affirmations have a far broader and wider application and significance than that which we attach only to the borrowed axiom. And they are used more commonplace than most people realize. Many of us use affirmations without being aware of them and often to our own detriment. The key element is that we can use the power of affirmations or incantations to make attitude changes through the affirmations that we ourselves compose. You may wish to develop courage by affirming, I solve all problems by facing them squarely with the courage and conviction that I can overcome. You may wish to become a self-starter, a person of action, by affirming, I am a self-starter. Once I make a decision or plan a course of action, I take immediate steps to complete them. If you lack energy or initiative, you can use, I consider fatigue little more than boredom, and overcome it by concentration and by realizing that I have an abundant supply to draw upon as I will. You can improve your memory by affirming, my memory is excellent. To make it work for me, I only need to attach importance to each experience that confronts me every day. These self-imposed affirmations Incantations, as those listed, may be tailored to whatever changes are dictated by the plans and goals that you have set. When we begin to practice affirmations, the law of reinforcement begins to work for us. First, we begin to look for those strengths and changes that we have stated. We begin to see in the real world things that we expect to see. But we also begin to act like the person we have resolved to be. Our manner and bearing begin to change. Our conversation takes on the tone of a different type of person. We literally become a changed personality, and we tend to act the way we are expected to act. There's nothing mysterious about this. It may be difficult at first to make real use of affirmations, but the reinforcement principle is simple and it's relatively easy to apply. Confidence in the value affirmation usually comes gradually as we begin to take each progressive step and learn from the experience that it is a step worth taking. It's somewhat like learning to drive a car. Certain things that you did when you drove a car required your attention. You had to do it over and over again until you realized what you were doing. What's important is that if we remain constantly aware that the almost imperceptible changes that we make daily are combining to lead us towards major changes from the long-range point of view. The key point with affirmations is that you want to try to use them as part of your morning ritual and evening ritual. I don't know how many of you are utilizing a morning ritual, but you want to take all the goals that you might have set for the 100-day challenge, or if there's a specific goal that you set at the UPW event or you've set for this year, and you want to make that into an affirmation. I'll share with you some that I use from some of my recent goals. For example, I make an imperative and important list every day in my success planner. I am a man of action. I know what I need to do, and I get it done on time or before. I do it now. I take action on my goals. I am on track, on top, and in charge of my life. I get it now. I act now. I always hit or beat my target dates on my goals. I have confidence in my ability to achieve my goals. This is the time. This is the place. I am the man. I act now. These affirmations can be used in any type of event or scenario. The most important thing is that what you need to realize is that by constantly affirming them, you begin to make a change in your mind. If you will consider your mind as a bucket filled with cold water. And the principle that is used in affirmations is the principle of displacement. So if you have a bucket, your mind is like a bucket and it's filled with cold water. If you were to drop a warm stone in that bucket, eventually as you kept dropping stones, it would replace the cold water. And the same is true with your mind. We all currently have negatives in our mind. We got them from conditioning. It came from our mother, our father. Somebody said that by the time you reach the age of 20, we've all heard the word no more than 100,000 times. We need to replace that and we need to replace the negative language that's in our brain. And the way we do that is by affirming what we want, listening to that side of our brain that says we can do it. And we can't wait for other people to motivate us or to encourage us or to push us. It's great that we have these support systems with these morning calls, with the Facebook groups, but unfortunately, you can't depend on other people to motivate you. You have to take responsibility and motivate yourself. And it begins by having a program for personal motivation. And I encourage you, if you have not made a decision to use incantations or affirmations as part of your morning and evening ritual, I encourage you today to go to Amazon when I put the link up and download my entire affirmation Kindle book that will be offered for free. Thank you very much.
Round of applause for Bert!
Wow. Yeah.
This is the time to take yourselves off mute. I think this deserves a double round of applause. So let's give him another one. Give it up for Bert, everyone. Bert. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bert, you rock. You freaking rock. I hope you're aware of that. This is Yali, and I'm a rock star. I'm just going to be sitting down right after this and making sure that not only do I go over everything I wrote down for myself, but I also do something with it and take action now. And it's one of the points I want to make that really resonated for me is, act now, not only as an incantation, but also as, if you guys can spare another minute or two when you're done with these calls and write down for yourselves, what am I going to do with this call today it'll make a massive difference for you in your life. So for me, I'm going to sit down after this call and I'm going to write down those new incantations or affirmations that I want to put into my morning ritual, because it's absolutely incredibly important. And thanks for noting out, like, I loved every single part, whether it was spaced repetition and the amazing examples you gave us, which is really just so true. You say just do it and you think Nike. It's just the way it is. Or Mustang, or same thing with everything else that you gave as an example. And what came up for me is that anyone can do this. Repetition is something you don't have to be smart for. You don't have to be rich for. You don't have to be this or that. You don't have to have a certain background, certain family. Anyone can repeat anything. And it just shows how practical that tool is and how seriously important it is, too. So it's definitely going to be number one on my list right now. And it's just like Tony says, repetition is the mother of skill. And using incantations and affirmations in that repetition format is just so freaking powerful. It's just like those things that we do and we're not even aware that we do, and that's the way they work for us. So I love it. I love that. It's definitely going to be one of my rituals. I advise all of you guys to end this call by writing those things down for yourselves. And at the end of this call, I'll end by sharing a really powerful incantation that one of our head rock stars, Carolyn Rim, shared with us, that Tony has all of his coaches and people who work for him read every day. So I'll end with that, but I want to open up this call for discussion. Woo! So right before I do, I'll just remind you that before you speak, you want to present yourself by saying your name, followed by I'm a rock star. Please respect each other. I'm sure a lot of us want to share. We have some time, so let's make it fast and to the point, and let's give you all a chance to do that. Before we do, let's just rock one more time. All right. So who wants to share this morning?
Hi, good morning. My name is Tiffany, and I am a rock star.
Tiffany.
Yeah. I'm calling because, I wanted to know, I have so many things that I can state, as to affirm myself in my incantations, but how can I hone in for just like one, just a really great one? I have a couple of Tony's books, and it says, oh gosh, I'm on the spot. So every day and every way I'm getting stronger and stronger. That's one. But, I really want something that resonates with me. How can I, go about and honing in on like a really one that's authentic? Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, round of applause. Okay, Tiffany, thank you for your question. I'm going to let Bert answer as well. Bert, I'd be really happy if after this call you give us a recap and also a link where we can get your book, because I think one of the things you can do is definitely just go online, check out different incantations, check out Bert's book, whatever it is, where you can read different ones that, first of all, inspire you and resonate. And I would assume, or what works for me, is those things that really hit the spot, like you'll kind of feel something, they trigger emotion in you when you say them. You want to stand in that place of maybe visualizing or saying them while really meaning them. If you're doubting it, it's not going to make that difference. But you want it to move you, to inspire you, to shake something up within you. Then you repeat them over and over again during a course of a certain amount of time. You'll feel different, and you'll see that the universe kind of brings things out for you in relation to that incantation, and you'll know that works. But it's over time, it's repetition that really makes it that way. Bert, I want to hear your opinion.
Right. Thank you, Yali. what you want to do is you want to place these affirmations where it's almost effortless to use them. I have sticky notes around my computer. I have sticky notes, Post-it notes on my bathroom mirror. I put affirmations everywhere. For me personally, the affirmation that resonates with me the most is one that I borrowed from Norman Vincent Peale's book, The Power of Positive Thinking. And while it's not my affirmation, like there's many biblical affirmations that you can also appropriate, it resonated with me, and because I've used it so much in the past, I've internalized it. And the affirmation goes like this: God made me strong. I see myself as I really am, strong. I am not weak. I am strong. I have what it takes. Thank you, God, for my strength. And that's, even though I'm not a super religious person, I have used that affirmation many, many times. There's another one that I also use in the morning, which is, this is a day the Lord hath made. I will rejoice and be glad in it, which is another biblical affirmation. I always recommend that you create affirmations that resonate with you, that are about your goals. So, like I shared with you some of my problem-solving affirmations, there's others. Here's one. Mistakes are merely guideposts. Mistakes are merely guideposts and direction finders in the pursuit of my goals. I have a lot of affirmations that talk to me about goal setting, about getting things accomplished, about being a person of action, of being a self-starter, because these are all the habits that I want to encourage in myself. One of the keys is knowing what your weaknesses are and what your strengths are. You want to spend time strengthening your strengths, and the old saying is you want to build your strengths and manage your weaknesses. Okay, because you'll get more out of it if you build on your strengths. It's tougher to make progress on your weaknesses, so you want to manage them. So if you suck at paperwork, delegate it. If you suck on the phone, delegate it. But the key is to find an affirmation that really resonates with you. And the way to do that is in the book that I'm going to provide for you guys, it'll show you exactly how to write an affirmation. The rules are simple. First, you want to use the first pronoun I, okay, because you don't want to be talking about somebody else. You want to talk about yourself. The affirmation must be written in the present tense, not in the future tense, not in the past. So it's I am a millionaire. You also want to use emotional words. So, for example, my affirmation when I was working out was, like Carolyn uses, I am a rock star. So one of my affirmations right now is I really enjoy driving my convertible. I enjoy having the wind blowing through my hair as I zip down the road in my beautiful BMW convertible. Now, with that affirmation, I not only affirm it, but I can also see myself, and that's the key, is you want to be able to see yourself enjoying the benefit of that affirmation. So if you can listen to that affirmation one more time, it's I really enjoy driving my BMW convertible. I like driving with my top down. I enjoy driving with the top down with the wind blowing through my hair as I zip down the highway. You can almost see yourself zipping down the highway with the wind blowing in your hair. That makes it easier because all the things that you want in life, every goal that you have must be mentally accomplished, before it can be physically accomplished. You will never accomplish anything that you can't see ahead of time. So I hope that helps. And there'll be more examples of how to do that in the book that I'll put up. And that's it.
Yes, thank you so much. That's so helpful.
Yes, thank you. All right. We're a little behind on time. I just want to give maybe two more people a chance to share. So keep them short and relevant. Who wants to share next?
I just want to go really quickly. My name is Greg, and I'm a rock star. Hey, Bert, just real quick. So thank you.
Woo!
This was amazing, and thank you so much. But can you just talk a little bit about how you use the incantations? Because I've always read, you need to be in an emotional state. You really need to kind of say them like you're all charged up. Are you getting yourself in a certain mindset when you say them, or are you just kind of saying them robotically and repetitively throughout the day? Thanks.
Okay, great question. Well, they're the two best times, affirmations, I've done subliminal messages, and that doesn't really work in my book because it's the constant repetition of the same thought over and over again that makes the change in your mind. And what affirmations does is they're not magical. As Tony says, you can't go outside and look at a garden and say there are no weeds, there are no weeds. That doesn't work. what you might want to say instead is, I have a beautiful garden. I maintain it and give it my love on a daily basis. It rewards me and my commitment with its beauty and bounty. Now, what a different picture that creates. And you want to say that affirmation, just before you go out there and work on the garden. Because all that the affirmation is doing is replacing the negative thoughts that are streaming up from your subconscious mind. If you hate working out, guess what you're subconsciously, you discussed this yesterday, Greg. Guess what you were saying to yourself before you went to work out? I really don't want to work out. I'm tired. Your brain starts going through this. And many times it's just happening robotically. And what is an attitude? An attitude is just a habit of thought. That's all it is. It's a repetitious thought that you've had over and over again, and you've given it strength by the constant repetition. So, yes, you want to use, Tony says that when he was a salesman working for Jim Rohn, he used to turn up the music. He'd put on, like, Rocky music and have it blasting, and he'd repeat his incantations to himself. And he'd slap his chest and slap the steering wheel. He said he would bang on the dashboard. People on the Santa Monica freeway would look at him while he was stopped in traffic with the music blaring and him screaming and yelling and banging on the steering column. They thought he was nuts. So the more emotion that you put into it, the more it'll be embedded in you. But you don't always have to do that. The main two times that you want to use your affirmations are first thing in the morning, because the conscious mind is still drowsy. It's in that sleep-like state. It's in a state of hypnosis. And then again before you go to bed at night, because when you go to bed at night, your dreams are going to come from your conscious thoughts. Whatever you experience that day that are negative or positive, that's where your dreams come from. So if you go to bed thinking, God made me strong, I see myself as I really am strong. I am not weak. I am strong. I have what it takes. Thank you, God, for my strength. You're going to go to bed at night and you're going to have a restful sleep. But you want to put the affirmations everywhere so that it takes no effort. It's like a billboard. Think of using them like a billboard. Billboards don't do anything, but while you're driving, you see them. Or if you go on the train, you see the signs on the train. So any way that you can, use physicality while you're running. For years, the way I got this whole, I don't want to take up all the time with the answer, but very briefly, the way I got to understand this is when I'm lifting. When I'm lifting weights and I put 250 or 275 pounds on the bench, I say things to myself. I don't go, gee, I'm not going to lift this. I start getting into state. I go, come on, I'm going to do this. Not a problem. I'm going to knock it out. I'm going to do 10 reps. I'm going to do them with no problems. I might get another 2 out because I'm going to have my guy help me. So I'm ready for this. And it's that mental preparation that you do. And that's not something that's isolated to lifting weights or to exercising or to running or to anything. It's that same mentality. The thing that I always try to remember is that if we're going to do something, don't walk into the ring thinking you're going to lose the fight. When a boxer walks into that ring, they both believe they're going to win. But the person that believes it the most and has practiced the most is going to win. So don't walk into any situation thinking like a loser. If you want to go work out and you start coming up with loser attitude or loser thoughts, remind yourself, hey, this is like going into a ring. I got to get mentally ready. I'm going to go in that gym and I'm going to have the best workout of my life. I don't care how tired I am, because you know what? I have more than enough energy for anything. All I need to do is focus it, concentrate, and get my ass in gear. That's an affirmation of mine as well. So anyway, I hope that helps.
All right, everyone. Due to lack of time, we're going to have to end the discussion here. However, I'm going to remind you guys that we're on Facebook, and it doesn't end here ever. We're here every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. And don't forget to take advantage of our iinspire coaches who offer you a free strategy session. So, I want to hear you guys. If you had an awesome call this morning and you want to thank Bert, say yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so one more time, let's give it up for Bert.
Yes.
Yes. All right, I'm going to end by reading this out to you. Listen to it and say it to yourself at the same time. I can, I will, and I must fulfill my destiny to live my life to my full potential. to constantly grow, improve, achieve, contribute, and love. I'm the light in the dark, a leader amongst men, and I will do what must be done. I'm a force for good and a force for God. I'm a God amongst kings. I believe, not doubt. I am the belief. I'm unstoppable, unshakable, and unbeatable. I'm strong. I will embrace and I will adapt. I will stand on my feet. I will never be beat, and I will never retreat. I will push and I will win. I'm a champion, a master influencer. I'm all heart, brain, spirit, and peace. Peace of mind that every day I selflessly give my soul, my strength, my truth, and my heart. I stand on the battlefield because I'm a gladiator. I'm outstanding. I'm legendary, and this is my legacy. I'm an author of the unforeseen. I'm the future. I'm an entrepreneur, and I will risk it all to love, live, give, grow, approve, achieve, and learn. I now command my subconscious mind to harness the power within me, to spread massive change to the ends of the world, to the corners of the universe, to presently exist in all that there is as I am present with all that there is that exists in me, and to give me the power to transform now, the power to turn weaknesses into strength, fears into faith, wounds into scars, hate into love, lies into truth, deafness into sound, blindness into sight, and darkness into light. That light now lies within my chest. This is the one I see, hear, feel, and become now. I'm the master of my fate and the captain of my soul. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's a great affirmation.
All right, everyone. Have an incredible day. And let's rock out as we leave here. Woo!
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Yes.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.